From movies that never officially saw the light of day, to films we'd rather erase from memory. And now, a new era with Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Today's video is packed with nostalgia, epic fails, weird costumes, and some seriously questionable CGI. Let's take a look at how the Fantastic Four have evolved on the big screen. From a 90s experiment no one saw to the 2025 blockbuster that's already making waves. So if you've ever wondered why this iconic superhero team never quite got the same luck as the Avengers, stick around because things are about to get interesting. Fantastic Four, 1994. The very first live-action Fantastic Four movie does exist, but it never made it to theaters. Why? Not because it was bad, though, yeah, it was, but because it was never meant to be released. Here's the deal. The production company, New Horizons, along with low-budget film legend Roger Corman, had the rights to the Fantastic Four. But there was a catch. If they didn't make a movie by a certain deadline, they'd lose those rights. So they went, make it fast, make it cheap. Just make it. And that's how we got the 1994 version, with a budget so tiny it probably couldn't cover breakfast for the crew. Surprisingly, the plot was pretty faithful to the classic comics. Reed Richards, Ben Grimm, and the Storm siblings head into space to study a strange cosmic energy. But during the mission, a blast of cosmic rays gives them each superpowers. All good so far, until the villain shows up. At first, he's called the Jeweler. Yes, seriously. But later morphs into Dr. Doom, with the laugh of a soap opera villain. And just to make things weirder, there's a totally random subplot involving mutant goblin-like creatures that feel like a mix between Gollum and the Green Goblin and have nothing to do with the main story. It's like someone spliced in a lost episode of Power Rangers. Look and effects. The Thing was literally a guy in a foam rubber suit. No CGI, no animatronics, just heat and suffering. Mr. Fantastic stretched his arms with rubber tubes that looked like party balloons. The Human Torch was animated fire, like someone drew it on with Microsoft Paint. Invisible Woman. Well, let's just say when she disappeared, it looked more like the editor forgot to add her to the scene. The saddest part? The actors had no idea it was just a legal move. They thought this would be their big break. Later, they found out Marvel never intended to release it. The film got shelved until it leaked online and became a cult legend. You can still find it on YouTube, but fair warning, it's one of those so bad it's good experiences. Fantastic Four, 2005. After the buried mess of 1994, it took over a decade for the Fantastic Four to get a proper movie, and this time, they were serious. In 2005, 20th Century Fox said, let's do this right. The result? A film full of early 2000s energy, shiny costumes, slightly awkward dialogue, but also charm and nostalgia.
You three are pathetic.
The story sticks to the classic formula. Reed Richards, genius scientist, leads a space mission with his best friend Ben Grimm, his ex-girlfriend Sue Storm, and her hot-headed brother Johnny. They're hit by a cosmic storm and come back to Earth with wild new powers. Reed becomes a stretchy genius. Sue turns invisible and creates force fields. Johnny becomes a living fireball, and Ben turns into a walking rock.
Solid.
How bad is it? You know, I used to smoke.
Their villain, Victor Von Doom, a jealous businessman with a pretty face and a rotten heart, who also gets powers and turns into a mix of Iron Man and Zeus with a god complex. Tech and effects. The Thing was still a practical suit, but way more detailed. Michael Chiklis spent hours in makeup, and the suit weighed over 60 pounds. The Human Torch's CGI was pretty solid for the time. Mr. Fantastic's stretchy moments looked smoother, though still a bit uncanny.
Get off me, rubber boy!
It wasn't a masterpiece, but it worked. It was light, fun, and while hardcore fans wanted something deeper, the box office numbers were good enough to get a sequel. Today, it's remembered fondly, especially by fans who grew up with it. It has that early 2000s charm that used to be cool, and kind of still is. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, 2007. After the moderate success of the 2005 film, Fox decided to raise the stakes, and in 2007, we got Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Surfer, a sequel that aimed for more action, more visual effects, and a cosmic-level villain. This time around, the Fantastic Four are already famous superheroes. The movie opens with preparations for Reed and Sue's wedding, which of course is doomed to chaos. Enter the Silver Surfer, a sleek, shiny figure on a flying surfboard who moves at the speed of light. He's here to announce the arrival of his boss, Galactus, the World Eater. His mission? To prepare Earth for destruction.
Why are you destroying our planet?
I have no choice.
Sue!
Wait!
The story revolves around the mystery of the Surfer. At first he seems like the villain, but we later discover he has his own motives, and even a hint of humanity. Think of him as a glowing Terminator, who just wants to save someone. Meanwhile, Victor Von Doom returns. Yep, again, more jealous than ever. This time, he wants to steal the Surfer's power and rule the world. Being rich, good-looking, and powerful just isn't enough for him. Visuals and effects. Silver Surfer was one of the film's highlights. Actor Doug Jones performed the movements, and CGI brought the character to life. His fluid motion and metallic design were quite impressive for the time. The Thing was still the same heavy practical suit from Michael Chiklis, but this time he looked more comfortable in the role. The Human Torch got a solid upgrade. In one epic scene, he absorbs the powers of the others, stretching, turning invisible, igniting flames, smashing through enemies, all in one explosive sequence. Sue Storm had a stronger emotional presence, and her force fields looked better than before, though she still felt like the most underused team member in terms of powers. Now, the big letdown. Galactus. Instead of giving us the giant helmeted cosmic titan from the comics, they gave us a big space cloud. Yep, a cloud. Fans were pretty disappointed. The Surfer was cool, but the main villain had no face, no voice, and no real threat. A cloud just doesn't scream terror. Still, the movie had its moments. It was lighter, funnier, and kept that mid-2000s style that now feels nostalgic. Not a total failure, but also not the big hit Fox was hoping for. Over time, it became known as the one with the Silver Surfer, a character everyone loved, stuck in a story that didn't dare to go all the way. Fantastic Four, 2015. This time, the approach was completely different. Instead of jumping straight into superhero action, the film took a darker, more experimental tone. It was all about origin, slow, serious, and grounded in science. Reed Richards and his friend Ben Grimm build a machine that sends them into an alternate dimension, the negative zone. After a catastrophic accident, they return with altered abilities. Reed can stretch his body in wild ways, Sue becomes invisible and creates energy shields, Johnny controls fire, and Ben transforms into a massive rock creature, the Thing. This version focused more on internal conflict than external villains. The team struggles with their new powers and identities, trying to make sense of what they've become. Dr. Doom also returns, this time as a disturbed scientist whose body is twisted into metallic form after being stranded in the alternate dimension. But fans were massively let down. Doom was supposed to be a powerful, intelligent villain, but here he was more like a weird, glowing alien than the legendary archenemy of the Fantastic Four.
If this world must die, so be it.
Effects and technology. The Thing was now fully CGI, and it didn't quite work. The design felt too inhuman, lacking the emotional depth of his comic counterpart. Sue Storm, played by Kate Mara, was portrayed as a mix of scientist and superhero, but her powers, invisibility and energy blasts, were hard to make visually compelling in such a dark, grounded setting. The Human Torch looked decent, the fire effects were okay, but they lacked the visual punch fans were hoping for. He didn't feel quite on fire enough. Sure, the CGI was technically advanced, and the powers looked more fluid than in past films, but something felt off. The effects didn't blend naturally with the story. They looked more like visual showcases than tools to move the plot forward.
Where are you, Susan?
And then there's Dr. Doom. Instead of the iconic, armored villain fans wanted, we got a metallic space zombie with no real presence. He looked more like a generic alien than Marvel's most feared genius. Director Josh Trank later claimed the studio ruined the film. According to him, the final cut wasn't his vision. Reports said scenes were reshot, scripts were rewritten, and the whole production felt messy. The result? A movie that didn't seem to know where it was going. Critics were brutal. Many even said it was worse than the older versions, and that's saying something. Fantastic Four 2025. In 2025, Marvel finally gave the Fantastic Four the reboot they truly deserved. This movie doesn't just restart the story, it completely reimagines it. With a retro 60s vibe, vibrant colors, futuristic tech, and a world where the team is already famous, the film skips the typical origin story and dives straight into the action. Reed and Sue, already married. And surprise, Sue is pregnant. But this isn't just any baby. Their son, Franklin Richards, is basically a cosmic nuke. Just when things seem to be going well, boom, Galactus shows up, the devourer of worlds. He gives Earth an ultimatum: hand over the child or I destroy the planet. That's where it all kicks off. In the comics, Franklin has the power to create entire universes. Galactus knows it and wants it. This twist adds a whole new emotional and cosmic layer to the story. High stakes and high drama. The aesthetic? Totally unique. Think retro futurism, shiny suits, wild spacecrafts, and a Jetson-style sci-fi city. The cast absolutely delivers. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach as Ben Grimm. Their chemistry? On point. And this time, Galactus is terrifying. No weird cloud nonsense. He's a massive armored cosmic titan that actually looks like the comics. Silver Surfer also returns, but with a twist. She's now Shalabal, played by Julia Garner, and she steals every scene she's in.
Your world will be consumed by the Devourer. There is nothing you can do to stop him.
The powers look incredible. Reed's elasticity, Sue's force fields, Johnny's flames, and the Thing's brute strength all shine with sleek, modern effects. Things get even more intense when the team decides to use Franklin as bait to trap Galactus. No spoilers, you'll have to watch the rest. Critics praise the film for blending action, nostalgia, and heart. A true family-centered superhero epic. After years of misfires, Marvel finally did justice to the Fantastic Four. They gave us family, emotion, a real cosmic threat, and set the stage for a future multiversal war. And there you have it, the wild, weird, but also epic journey of the Fantastic Four on the big screen. So, which version is your favorite? And which one would you erase from the multiverse entirely? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more character evolutions coming your way. Take a look around the channel. I'm sure you'll find another video that'll hook you in. See you in the next one.